This is the Holster Hospital. It's an assortment of standard hardware bits and pieces that are used on our holsters and also many other companies' holsters. It has this handy printed guide that shows you all the different pieces that are in the different compartments, and I'm going to go through some of them quickly and just give you a basic description of what they're used for. First, we include our recommended thread locker, Vibratite VC3, a little rubber hardware block to help hold screws and screw posts still while you're tightening or loosening them, and then a small magnetic driver that takes standard driver tips. All the screws in this kit are Phillips head, so we include a Phillips number 2 driver in here. We want it to be small enough to fit in the kit, but also be interchangeable with any other driver tip you want to use. We have both rubber and rigid spacers. Rigid spacers are used anytime you have multiple elements in a stack, like a DCC clip, then a rigid spacer, then a mod wing, then your holster shell, and you need to use a long screw to tighten the whole stack together, but you don't want the stack to compress or change height, and you want it to all be very rigid. Nylon rigid spacers are great for that. Rubber spacers are used both in adjustable retention systems. You'll typically see larger ones like 3/8 inch rubber spacers used in the adjustable retention of a light bearing holster. You'll see smaller ones used in adjustable retention on standard holsters or as a backer behind clips, monoblocks, etc., in between the attachment and the holster body to provide a little bit of cushioning and the ability for the clip to flex a bit without stressing the holster shell. We also have a variety of length of screws and screw posts. Screw posts are the female threaded fastener. Flathead truss screws are the most common male threaded fastener we use, and those go through and allow you to fasten things through the holster body, and then you'd use your rubber hardware block on the back to press against this face and keep it from spinning while you tighten it from the front. We provide those screws and screw posts in a number of lengths, and that's all described in the key here. In the upper section, we have 2 different dividers. Over here, we have some oval head screws, which have a rounded top and an angled underside. Those require some kind of washer, either a finish washer, which is a raised domed washer, or an eyelet to provide a bearing surface, because if you tighten up a screw with an angled underside directly against the plastic shell, it will tend to distort and damage the plastic. So any screw that's angled on the underside needs to be used with some kind of washer before you fasten it to a plastic thing. So we have some flat washers, flat metal washers, thin rubber spacers, countersunk washers. We have a few double screw posts, which you'd see primarily in an assembly like the Filster light bearing Enigma. And then we have a variety of thicknesses of rigid spacers and also a bunch of different lengths of screw posts. We've got one set of screw posts in here that have a serrated face. Most of these screw posts rely on you holding them still from the back, and many of them have a slot in them. So if you need to, you can use a flathead screwdriver or other tool to hold it still while you tighten it. But these ones actually have serrations on the face, and as they start to get tight, those serrations will bite into the underside of whatever surface it is, usually the inside of the holster, and keep this screw post from spinning so you can finish tightening your screw down, and they will hold the screw post still and keep it from spinning as you start to loosen your screw up. Always, when you're combining male and female hardware, screw posts, screws, and spacers, you want to use the maximum length of screw post and screw that will still fully tighten without running out of threads, because the more threads you have engaged, the more secure your assembly will be. If we have two things, a screw and a screw post, that barely touch and they engage for 1 turn, if that backs out a half a turn, it's going to start to loosen. A full turn, it'll come undone. If we get 6 turns of engagement, that screw and screw post will stay tighter for longer, and you'll also have more of a warning period if they start to loosen up. Holster hardware is not lifetime set it and forget it. Things get loose, so check your gear often, keep everything tight, and for gear you carry every day, we recommend Vibratite VC3 thread locker on all your fasteners. Thanks for checking out the Holster Hospital. Carry safe.